But we do want to get to this story because some of you may remember hearing about this over the course of the weekend. And so now within 4 months, we've had these 2 young boys with autism disappear near their homes, both of their bodies found later near open water. Nearby, Eden Prairie police believe that 11-year-old Mohammed wandered away from his home on Sunday. And then if you remember last June, Hopkins police say that 4-year-old Waze Ali Mohammed drowned in a creek near his home as well, and he had autism. So we wanted to bring in Jaime Larry. She's with the Minnesota Autism Center. And really, Jaime, what we wanted to do is just try to educate people a little bit more about autism itself, even if it doesn't affect you directly, and really educate us all on the challenges facing these families who are navigating it. So thank you for being with us.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so really quickly, a lot of people are curious about this water being a common thread, a common theme among some of these children or adults even with autism who end up wandering and are later found near water. What is the draw there for them?
Yeah, so as some or many may know, sensory and sensory-seeking behavior is very common with individuals with a diagnosis of ASD or autism spectrum disorder. Commonly, you'll see sensory-seeking behaviors with water. They will seek out water. It could be in the form of a sink, a pool, a pond, a creek. For some kids, it could be even toilet water. It's wanting to play in water, have their bodies in water, just wanting to play. Unfortunately, many individuals with autism don't know all safety in regards to water. They may have never learned how to swim. They've only swam with adaptive protective gear on, or even understanding depths of water could be something that they've never learned or don't understand. So they are seeking out water, but don't have all the safety skills to know how to engage with water.
I can't imagine how terrifying it must be for a parent or a caregiver who realizes that someone, whether it be a child or adult with autism, has wandered away, having to call police and trying to describe what's happening. I mean, can you give sort of a sense of what that might be like, especially, in maybe an underserved community where you don't have the resources, maybe you don't speak the language?
Yeah, I know we recently were talking with families on okay, if you're calling the police, important key things to make sure you identify for your child. One, that they understand that your child has autism spectrum disorder. If they are able to functionally communicate their needs, are they vocally speaking? Are they non-vocally speaking? Would they have a communication device with them? Do they not have it? Do they use any type of sign language? If they aren't able to functionally communicate or even just understand safety skills, make sure the police know that when you call it in that they are missing. Also, just keeping a reminder that there may be people that believe that autism is a childhood diagnosis only. There are adults and teenagers with a diagnosis. It's not uncommon that parents can't get a hold of their 15-year-old child for an hour. That is very different than a 15-year-old non-speaking individual with autism who doesn't understand how to safely look for cars when they cross the street, that wouldn't know if they walked into a store how to ask for help. To make sure the police know the kind of full aspect of what you're looking. If you are a family that doesn't, maybe English is your second language, is there a neighbor or a family member who could help call in to make sure that that information is dispersed to the police so the police can more immediately respond to your needs and understand the severity of the situation?
Along those lines, if you, just trying to pull this out to an everyday type situation for the average person, if you were to say, see someone in a park who may be wandering and you suspect that they, may be on the spectrum, if you're in a store and see someone wandering, or you see a parent or caregiver struggling with someone who may be having just a really hard time in that moment, what are things that we can do to help support and even really help them in those types of situations?
Yeah. The first thing I always want to remind people is that autism is not something that you can generally look at somebody and say, oh, they have autism. So it may be something where you don't always know. If there is an adult or an appeared caregiver present, you know, you can always say, how can I help you? Do you need any support? Some families may say, nope, we're okay at this time. Nope, thanks for asking, we're good. They may also be somebody from the community or an autism provider that's working on community skills, and the child or the teenager is struggling in the community. So always ask who is present with the individual if there's something that you can do to help or support. And I just always remind people to be respectful if they say like, no, I think we're good. You can always check back in later if you want to kind of hang around or give them space and check back in. Hey, do you need anything yet? Or is there anything else I can do now? That's always a good reminder in general. If you do see any child wandering or someone you may believe has autism, I think the first one is to make sure to check the surroundings. Are there any adults nearby? If there are adults or other individuals nearby, just confirm, hey, do you know this child? Is this child with you? You can keep a general eye on them if there's no adult by, and make sure you call authorities to report that, you know, there's a child that doesn't have an adult with them. They appear to maybe be by themselves. I would encourage you to use very calm voices. I would encourage you not to touch them or go grab them. Individuals with autism, again, like we were talking about with water, may have sensory concerns. So touching them or try to grabbing their hand, that may be adversive to them or very uncomfortable. It could also be triggering if they're scared to have a stranger come up to them or somebody who they don't know to try to touch them. So I would keep an eye. You can just say, hey, can I help you? Again, you don't always know if somebody is non-vocal. They may have supports. They may also have identifying wristbands or watches on them and have learned how to show what that information is.
Okay, that's great advice. Thank you so much for your time today and helping to educate us a little bit more about this world that so many families are trying to navigate. All right, thanks, Jaime. We appreciate your time.